What is up, Crockxen clan members, anime fans, and others who will stumble upon this video? I'm SoresanCrockxen, and today we're doing another anime time with Soresan, and today's topic is gonna be Wake Up Girls. So let's get started. Oh, Wake Up Girls. It's wow. I don't even know how this is gonna sound. I freaking love this show. I do. I did. It was amazing. I honestly was so super surprised that I really enjoyed this show, and I it's one of those series. It's one of those series where I'm not a person that usually cares what people think. I do. I freaking most of the stuff I do wouldn't be considered mature and stuff and whatever. But this show was one of those that just really I tried talking to like my friends, like the group that I normally hang out with. It's really hard because it's not a show that a typical guy would watch per se. Um, I'm actually the only one in my group of friends. Well, actually, anybody that I know personally that would watch a slice of life anime to begin with. But then you put on top of that it's a musical type of slice of life. It's not a good sign. But I didn't care. And here's the thing though. Um, my cousin's been hassling me to watch a comic I kill. He was hassling me. I'm being serious. The dude is freaking crazy with that show. I personally don't care about it. I've only watched the first episode though, so I can't. I guess you can't. I can't say that I have a right to judge it yet. I am gonna watch the second episode though. Give it that second episode chance. But I honestly, from what I saw, it's not gonna be interesting in any ways. But anyways, so I decided to just watch it on a limb, and like I technically in my cycle, my little round of like multiple animes that I watch, the next one that was up was Wake Up Girls, and I had already started that series. I freaking loved it, right? So it was a good show that I really was passionate about, and so I decided to watch a comic and kill, and not only I was so bored out of my mind that I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to finish this so I can go back to watching Wake Up Girls. So the premise of Wake Up Girls, and I'm actually I hate the fact that I decided to look at some other people talk about it because honestly I want this show deserves a second season. I'm being straight up serious. This show needs a second season. I want it to have a second season. Uh, and then I saw like so many like negative things, and like there were some positive reviews. I did see the people who really liked it and enjoyed it and all that stuff. But people always like to hate on things just to hate on things. Uh, but they did throw off some points that are kind of valid. But to be honest, it made no sense in certain ways. So, anyways, getting to Wake Up Girls. So the premise of the show is essentially you have this small company. Well, it's not even a company. It's they're a talent managing company. They're like really small. They live in a rural town. There's not a lot of business there and all that stuff. And they have just lost their most recent client because they quit and all this other stuff. And then the president decides that she's gonna form an idol group. And she sends her lackey, who is technically the manager to begin with, basically like go get me a group. Like she's basically just kicks him out and says go find me some girls to make an idol group. And then through searching and finding, both of them actually end up bringing girls together. And initially they have six, which they end up auditioning and everything and all that sort of stuff. And the manager Matsuda, that's the name of the manager, finds a girl and like she's singing and he really likes it and he wants to bring her, but she like leaves and doesn't want anything to do with it. She actually she helps one of her friends join the group. Now this all happens during the movie. The movie is a prequel to the series. So if you're gonna watch the show, Watch the movie first. Uh, and the thing that I personally love about the series is that not only was it about bringing this group of girls together and learning to basically basically trust in each other and learn to grow together as a group and learn or earn confidence because the girl who the last one she ends up being the last one to join. She actually belonged to an idol group before. That's kind of why she didn't want to join because she got out of that life. Her name is Mayu, by the way. I can probably name all the girls too, so it's like Mayu, who's her. She was the center of that other group, so it's a big deal. Yopi, who actually becomes like the leader because she's the only one. She's like a model, right? So she's like already in the entertainment, or she's already in the business, so they kind of treat her as the leader. Na- Nanami, who is like she's a little brat. She's like the youngest of the group, right? And she's all about the future and like being a singer and a dancer and an actress and all that stuff. And she actually tries to push use Wake Up Girls as a step up, like a step towards that goal. Uh, she's Minami, who is like the most adorable one of the group. She's like the second oldest, or the second youngest. Uh, she's always eating, but she does it in the most adorable way. She's always talking about how everything's delicious and all that stuff. Um, Kaya, who's the oldest, she works. She's had various jobs. She's actually the only one that's considered legal. She's like 18. She's the only one that's 18. Uh, and so she's like basically trying to like. I guess she just did this for the heck of it. That's the whole mindset for that. Um, what is it? Irie, who is Mayu's best friend, she's the one that gets the help to go do that. And I keep forgetting her name. Miyu. There we go. Miyu. She's one of my favorites. She already like she works at a diner and she's actually a singer at the diner. But anyway, so them basically going growing together. And then this show, even though it has a somewhat simplistic plot, it does it like I said, it does it really well because it kind of shows off like the dark side of the entertainment industry because in the movie itself, the president actually books it with the money. She just bails on the group and she didn't pay anything. They were supposed to have a concert and she didn't pay for the hall and she also got a bunch of CDs. They like basically like their official first CD, even though they only had one song and everything else was like covers, and she didn't pay for it, so they were basically like in the hole, and they're like, oh my gosh, what the heck are we gonna do? But the manager, he didn't give up, and he got them showing in this like it was like a rock, it was like a music festival thingy. Um, in like the middle of the park in winter, and they didn't have their outfits because they weren't bought or paid for, so they weren't gonna send them, and so they had to do it in the uniforms. And the song was amazing. The song is what I used I used part of the song in the intro of today's video. Such a great song. I freaking loved it. Um, it's amazing. So essentially, it shows the dark side of the industry, and like we actually meet like a sleaze bag of like a promoter who basically like takes them to like a bar, or it's not really a bar. It's one of those really I don't even know what the heck those kinds of places are, but it's kind of like where people go to get drunk, but it's like there's no tables, and you're just on the floor sitting down, and it's like called carpet and one of those places, and like had them perform in their in like bathing suits in front of a bunch of grown ass drunk men, and then like they were gonna have to do favors for them, like as it was the most disgusting thing ever, and like there it was ridiculous. There was a bunch of stuff that was shown off that was just ridiculously frustrating. Um, they even have a moment like the president comes back to try to fix everything, even though she's the one that messed it up in the first place. And then like they end up like meeting this guy who like works like he's the songwriter for the most popular group in the series in Japan, which is the I-1 Club, and he like goes up like because they have kind of like a mini concert in like this weirdo place, like really small shack kind of bit. I don't even know what the heck it was. It was really small built a small. I don't know what it was. I really can't tell, but it was a really small place. And like the guy had come by and he saw them, and apparently he was intrigued, and like he basically decided to write them a song and train them, but train them in the most ridiculous. Like this was it could have been considered abuse for all I know. It was ridiculous. It pissed me off. And not only that, he wanted to kick one of the girls out because she wasn't on par. And I was like, no, you leave her alone. I was frustrated. And the thing is, when they kept showing off the I-1 Club and how they run their things, you could clearly tell they have it messed up in the head. Because the manager for them, like basically they're like robots. And I'm being serious. They're like freaking robots, and he controls them all because it's like a big group of girls, and they're all doing the same thing, doing the same dance moves, doing the same singing, and all that other stuff. Excuse me. But if they're not up to par, according to the managers, you know, what he feels is up to par, you get kicked out. Like right then and there. He comes out and he has this freaking megaphone. He's like, hey, no. And he doesn't even call them by names. They're all numbers. So he's like, oh, like, for example, like number 1013, 277, 301. Thank you for, or not even thank you. He doesn't, you will no longer have to come tomorrow or ever after that. You're done. You're fired. And I'm like, dude, what the heck? These are young girls. So what? You can't just do that. And then like at the end of the practice, you would see him like doing a motto of like, how they're idols first and humans second, and how it's all about. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And at the end of the series, they go to this like idol competition where they beat the preliminaries with the song that one guy gave them, right? And then the next day, the I-1 Club gets the song that they just sang at the preliminaries, and they're gonna release it in a CD that's for them because the song is theirs now. So the Wake Up Girls can't use it anymore, and it's because he gave it to them. I'm like, that douchebag. I knew he was a sleazebag, and it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous, and I did like the way they finished it off, and this is why I say it deserved the second season. They didn't win the competition. Well, technically, here's the thing: they did, but they didn't because, or it could be interpreted in a different kind of weird. They got a new song from that same guy. Apparently, he thought that they were better than the song that he wrote before. This one was better and it was more difficult. They did throw like a little bit of a cliche in there because the leader actually sprained her ankles and she was supposed to be the center for that song. But they did everything. She was fixed up and she was able to do the dance. Um, of course, there was a little mix-up, but everybody was cheering for them. Like literally, the whole stadium turned screaming for "Wake Up Girls" and all this other stuff. And it was just so amazing. And then at the end of it all, another team wins, and then the manager for I-1 Club, because it was a competition made by them. He goes off to talk to the guy that made them the songs and be like, they won. Kind of like they won, but I wasn't gonna let them win. Type of, I don't know. It could be interpreted in a bunch of different ways, but that's the way I saw it. He's like, I can't let these girls win because Mayu was a part of the I-1 Club and she just left. So, or it was a big mess up in there. He for some reason decided to do a 9/11 reference, which was really weird and really uncomfortable. But whatever. But anyways, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below if you've seen the series before. If you haven't, I highly suggest it. Link in the description for Crunchyroll where you can watch it. As a rating, 9 out of 10. Seriously. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been SoresanCrockxen, and I'll see you guys in future videos.